Hello everybody and a very warm welcome to this video. In this video we're going to be talking about the wonderful world of grossing up income. Now grossing up income is dead straightforward. If you think about it, if you ever receive some income and let's say you've sold something for £100, then what you want to be showing is £100 shown as sales within QuickBooks Online, right? But what about if the money that received into the bank account isn't £100, it's £80 because there's been a fee involved, say eBay for example. Well, that's what this video is all about. How do you make sure that the £100 showing when only £80 has hit your bank account? It's a question that gets asked a lot of times, and we're going to be looking at both QuickBooks Self-Employed and QuickBooks Online to give you some insights on how to make sure that you gross up your account each and every time. Stay tuned. Hello, my name's Aaron Patrick. I'm a chartered accountant, a certified UK trainer with a fancy new logo, that QuickBooks chap on the internet, head of accounts here at Boffix, and also your friendly podcaster who goes live each and every Monday morning for Ask the Accountant. Now in today's video, we're going to jump straight into our first part, which is looking at how to gross up income in QuickBooks Sole Trader. Let's have a look. Alrighty then, so QuickBooks Sole Trader. You'll see here we have the opportunity to have eBay coming in there. Now imagine in my scenario that I'd sold something for £30, but I've only received £24.87. Now at the moment it's put the whole £24.87 to sales, which is only half the story, right? And this is the whole point of grossing up the income. So what I need to do then is jump into the transaction, and I'm going to use this little edit button on the right hand side. When I use the little pencil, the edit button, I get this whole screen on the back. And I'm going to use the add split functionality, because the add split functionality gives me the chance to go in and say exactly what's happened. And in my case, what I'm going to say is I've actually had £4.13 negative worth of fees. Now I can add new categorizations in here, or at least your accountant can add some for you if you're a client, but I'm just going to put this to other business expenses for now. But normally I'd want an eBay fee or something along those lines. What's happened now is QuickBooks has automatically grossed up the income for me. It's put £30 there and then showing that £5.13 fee just below it. I can add multiple other fees as well, so maybe I've got some postage to put into there or something like that. But ultimately, I'm happy with that now. I'm now showing the correct sales figure. I'm now showing the correct fee that I've got to account for. And I can press save and put it in there. And ideally, when I go back to this transaction, you'll see it's now got 2 there, but it'll only be 1 when it comes to actually showing it in the bank area. But when I click into it and use that pencil button again, I do have the opportunity to drag and drop file there. So if I've got a copy of the transaction from eBay, something like that, I can definitely put it in there, put it from there. Especially if you're doing it on a payout by payout basis, you can get that payout summary, put that into there, gross it up, and you're going to have a much better time. Another solution to do within the QuickBooks Sole Trader before we move is use the new transactions area. From new transactions, you can put the income and expense in. You can put the exact one in. This is really good for, say, if you've got like a monthly summary or even an annual summary of the fees that's included, you just want to do one transaction to get all of that income grossed up and all of that expenses shown at the same time. You'd put one income in for the transaction, one income in for the expense, both be exactly the same amount. Preferably have that transaction available so you can keep a copy of it, your summary of fees, things like that from the annual period. And you can use that method as long as you've got one income in, one expense, and they're both the same. That's a really easy way of making sure that you gross up the income from there. One of the categories would be sales, that's your income. The other category will be expense, would be, in my case, other expense, but it will, if you've got the opportunity, make sure you have an eBay fee or something like that within QuickBooks Sole Trader. All right, that's QuickBooks Sole Trader. By far the simplest way of doing things, and that's why we love QuickBooks Sole Trader. It keeps things simple for you. Let's now quickly jump into the QuickBooks Online version and just see what options we have there. First of all, if I go to the bank transaction and find some income, then yes, just like in QuickBooks Sole Trader, we have the opportunity to split the account. So I could go into any income received, say this Amazon one here, £36.06, and let's say now it should have been £40. Well, I can jump into the transaction. I can use the split functionality And then I get a different screen than I got there. So I will have to do kind of a little bit more manual work here. But I can say £40 have gone to sales. I can even make sure my VAT is correct. And then in my case, I want to say that I've done £3.94p minus in this case. And then I could definitely have some form of fees, eBay fees, whatever that's going to do. I'm just going to have agent fees in this case. And I can say if it has got VAT, maybe it has, maybe it hasn't, but I can make sure I get that right. But ultimately what it does is it says, what's my split difference? What's my original amount? And it'll give me a difference. If I'd have accidentally calculated this wrong and maybe I'd put £4.94 there, I will get a £1 difference there, letting me know that actually done a bit of a boo-boo, should have been £3.94, put that there. I can upload my attachments just like we could in the last one. So there's a little bit more work involved in this one. Because it doesn't automatically gross up for you, but that's how you can do it. Go into that split functionality, use that negative option, say what category that relates to, press split and post, and you've there added that transaction by splitting it accordingly. Going from there. Another way I would gross up income is I would make all these transactions like Amazon, etc., post what I call a control account. Now, a control account, we've done a whole video on it to go directly into it. So if you need more information on control account, do recommend looking at one of our videos on how to work with a control account. But ultimately on my dashboard here, you'll notice I have an eBay control account. And on that eBay control account, especially if I go to the bank register and look at the back end of it, you'll notice that I'm automatically adding transactions there. I'm adding all my eBay fees into here. And then basically the individual transactions are being put there. And then what I can do is make sure I always come back to zero. So I'll put all the transactions on the left and make sure it comes back to right. And I'd want this balance to keep coming back down to zero. Now this is a test case. This is not a real life scenario, so these don't quite make sense or quite agree. But the idea is, on the right hand side is the income that's hit my bank account. On the left hand side is going to be the income that I've actually made, and then I'd have fees and everything going through it as well. Really nice way. What I like about using this area is if I want to do it manually, I can just add transactions at the top here by adding expenses, adding income directly from here. So it's nice and quick and easy for me to get the transactions in, right? But it just means that you can feel on control, because at the end of it, you want this ending balance to be either zero, everything you've had has been paid out to you, or at least if you've got a payout still coming your way, that figure should be that next payout that you're expecting to see in a few days' time. In my case, I'm going to say that I've got £24.87 still to come. It's on its way, and I'm happy with that, so I can tick that off and say, yep, I'm happy that's done. But it would be worth going through from there. The other thing about using a control account is this way you can add apps to it as well. So if you go to the Find App Store and look at eBay, there's all these options that come up. My personal recommendation is use the eBay Connector by Intuit or anything Connector by Intuit. That's going to make it really easy for you to sync sales. Again, I've got the opportunity to go in and you can do a whole video that's on this channel. So have a look at those videos for a bit more information. But that's definitely a really nice, clean and easy way. Using control accounts first, get all that app information to populate that control account. And every time you have a payout hit your bank account, just transfer it over to the control account. 9 times out of 10, it's going to work each and every time, and you'll just be able to see money in, money out, and it'll all come back down to zero. But if it doesn't, the beauty of it is you've got this nice control account where you can go through and find out what transaction might be missing. Is it a refund or something like that that's just not quite hit how it should done? And it just makes your life so much easier by going through and doing it from there. So highly recommend looking at that. And to me, that's the quickest and easiest way of splitting your transactions, grossing up your transactions. Use that split functionality if you're using QuickBooks Sole Trader, because it's so much easier and it will do all of the grossing up for you. It doesn't do, if you can't use it or it takes too long to gross up individual transactions, just add some income, add some expense, make sure they're the same and you're good to go. In QuickBooks Online, use the split functionality for those one-off ones just to make it nice and easy. You can quickly just put in an individual fee, something like that. If you're trying to match a transaction though, so if it's a transaction that's already there, don't forget to use the match functionality as normal. Find the transaction you want and then use the resolve difference option down here to be able to select what that fee relates to. This is really useful where you want to say that, you know, that person or whoever it is has paid you in this case maybe £400, but you've had that 30 odd pound taken off you. So well, let's use this then to go in here and show the £30 there. So let's use this resolve difference to show that £39 and 4 pence. There is a fee as a minus fee, but then make sure that we're able to use the top bit to be able to tick in the box to say that that full £400 gone. Otherwise, you could put this £360.96p against that 400, but you're just constantly going to be showing that that client still, quote unquote, owes you the difference. But in this case, they don't owe you the difference, it's just a fee that's not been accounted for. So that's where I would definitely push back and use that resolve difference option, so that I can make sure that I match it completely each and every time it's right, and I can account for my difference just there. Makes it so much easier in that way. Remember, in QuickBooks Online as well, control accounts of your friends. Create a control account, post all the ins and outs into that control account. Every time the bank payment comes through, transfer it over, and then your individual transactions can show in that control account. I see far too many times people trying to post it all to the main bank account, and all it takes is 1p to go out, and you're going to have yourself a real big tricky difference of trying to find it. So make your life easier, throw it into a control account, have ability to be able to check that control account on a regular basis. Should be zero if it's nothing still owed to you, and if not, it should be whatever you need to be paid in. If it's none of those two figures, that's where you do a bit of investigation, go through the figures. And that's it. That's my little look into the world of QuickBooks and grossing up income. It's definitely a question I get asked so much time. Hopefully now I got all the tools. Now, if you want to look into a little bit more detail on any things I've just said, I do have dedicated videos that are much longer on my channel, so use those videos to go into a little bit more detail if you need to. But this one was more of a let's do an overall of all of the bits that you can do. Let's be quick, be sharp, but make sure people have all the skills they need and see the ability to be able to go through and gross up the income as they need to. But my name is Patrick. Thank you so much for watching this video. If it has helped you, make sure you use the like, subscribe button, all that sort of stuff, because that's how we make sure that we go through and deliver this content to as many people as possible. My name is Patrick. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.
Hello and welcome to this new series.
Hello and welcome to this video. Hello and welcome to this video. Hello and welcome to this video.
Hello and welcome to this video.
Hello and welcome to this video. Alright, let's get it set. Let's do this.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yes, I'm aware we go live every Monday.
The next generation is about everyone else that missed it.
Yeah. So current. All right, you've told us what you love about the industry, but what would you change about the industry?
Where do I start?
During that period of time, where did everyone turn to? Their accountant, right? Their advisor, the bookkeeper, and you all did phenomenal work for small business.